fans, do you want to win your share of $100,000? Simply enter the houseofboxing.com Fight Night Prediction Challenge. Compete with boxing fans around the world. Simply head over to houseofboxing.com and sign up now.
Matt Lenihan, Boxing Social, in association with houseofboxing.com, Empire Fight Store. Gareth, what a week, what a promotion. Everywhere you go throughout this city of Jeddah, I mean, if anyone ever wants an example, I know it comes down to money about a promoter fight, this is it. How excited are you? Tomorrow, Tyson Fury, Francis Ngannou, an unbelievable chief spot which could main event in its own right, in Fabio Wardley, David Adelaide. What a week.
Yes, indeed, Lifesaver. Great to be back with you. That story will eventually be told one day on air.
It's podcast worthy.
It is podcast worthy. It's amazing to be here. The sun's going down. We're here for the weigh-ins today. There's a feel about this event, and it's grown, and there's a crescendo to it. I think we're going to get something maybe unusual. I don't think many people think that Francis Ngannou is going to beat Tyson Fury on Saturday night, but there is something in the air. There's a magic dust about this event. It feels as big as any Vegas event I've ever been involved in. There's an extravaganza feel about it, and I think what I'll point to is, in Tyson Fury terms, he is at the pinnacle commercially in the sport at the moment, and we're seeing that reflected this week. The undercard's fabulous. It feels to me, I don't know if I said it to you earlier in the week, like it almost feels like being in Olympic Games where you're travelling around the city, taking buses. The international media corps is here. It's an enormous turnout. So everything points to a big, spectacular event. You had the showmanship of John Fury, even being moved out of the way from almost spoiling the photo op when they all had their shirts off yesterday. He's in unison with his sons. Fury, I've followed Fury from his very first fight. I was at his debut. I've followed the journey from 2015 when he started at the very top of the sport by dethroning Vladimir Klitschko in 2015. 8 years on, look where we are. Heavyweight boxing is in an amazing position.
Before we talk about Tyson's sort of rise, because you mentioned there obviously his value and you can see it in this event, talk about the press conference yesterday. So, all very pleasant. John then comes onto the stage and John Fury does what John Fury does. Him and Mike having a little bit of a back and forth. That's sort of added to the spectacle. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I think it was him doing his showmanship. I think, Mike Tyson took it, very gallantly. I think John did his thing. And then he let the main protagonists do their thing, and it's about them. But as I said, there's a pride in John that he can't be held back. I think, I've known John a long time, and the family are emblematic of a traveller way of life coming into the modern era. And he's a very proud man. I mean, I've spent many hours talking to John about the background of the family. You've got to remember, Tyson comes from 10 generations of bare-knuckle fighters. John came up with... It is lineage, and it's in his DNA when he fights, you can see that. And it's in his toughness physically, it's in his resilience. We've seen that in those Wilder fights. So I think, there's enormous pride in John. And, I think he's able to be almost more of a showman when I'm just watching this camera here come around behind us. We're all right. But no, it's okay. I'm just watching. Do you want to bring the jib into shot so we can see it? No, don't. No. We nearly got taken up by a crane camera, then a jib. But when he's with Tommy and his Misfits, he pushes it even further. And it
tell how proud he is, can't you?
Oh, I mean, it's unbelievable, really. What must it feel like to see your son rise and fall mentally and come back and, and I think he means it. I think he means he actually believes, because anyone can be beaten, but he believes no one can beat his son. And rest assured, there's a man in the other corner tomorrow night, Francis Ngannou, who has an amazing narrative arc himself, this extraordinary journey out of Africa, into France, where he didn't even from privation, from deprivation, from living in a mud hut. Go and watch the film that TNT Sports have made about, it's a 5-minute film about him growing up. He literally lived in a mud hut and slept on the floor. And it wasn't until he was about 20 that he thought, do you know what, I want to have this. And he walked through Africa, took buses, literally swam across the ocean, ended up in jail as a refugee, found an MMA gym, but was looking for a boxing gym. So beware here as well one big punch in the heavyweight division, and yes, MMA strikers are different. One big punch could beat anyone. So he's got the dream and the imagination to believe that he can do it as well. Boxing has a habit of creating really weird upsets. I've seen a very focused Tyson Fury.
Looks in good shape, by the way, as well.
When he's got that long, lean face, yes, he's always got that little tire around him, the extra weight that he needs, but when he's got that long, lean face, it also indicates to me that he's not just fit for this fight, he's fit for the Usyk fight as well. And my feeling is, Matt, lifesaver, that he wants to get this job done quickly. I predicted 5 rounds, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was 3 now.
I was just about to say, when you look at the shape from the first press conference to now, he's always got that, I suppose, that bit on the hips, because you've got to remember, he lost 10 stone in a very quick period, so it's always going to be difficult, and he's always admitted, he goes, I'll never be body beautiful or whatever, but that works in his favour. He's a guy who can run up mountains 20 stone. He was doing it with Ben Davison and all.
He's fit, he's never smoked, he drinks a bit, but he's got an engine, and we know he's got an engine. He's a freak, 6'9", moves like a middleweight, punches, we know he's got a big punch on him now. We know he's elusive, he's got great footwork, he's got great IQ. We know he can survive, he's got the heart of a lion. He's the Gypsy King.
I was going to ask you, you've been there from the start, like you said. You've covered boxing longer than most people here that have been alive, a lot of people. Talk to me about Tyson Fury, and what is your fondest moment with Tyson? Because you've experienced a lot with him. What's been sort of that moment where you've gone, you know what, that'll stay with me forever? It doesn't have to be watching him fight, whatever.
No, I've got one. I did let myself go after he beat Wilder in the 3rd fight. I think it was the 3rd fight or the 2nd fight.
The 3rd fight was like COVID times. Was it that one?
No, with the 3rd fight, was it a Hakkasan party afterwards?
I think he's done them a few times.
Yeah, I did go and celebrate and rip my shirt off on the dance floor, and I've got photos, and had a beer with him, and I did go to the pool party afterwards, and. Those are nice memories, because I was allowed on the inside. But my fondest memory, really, I think, was before the first Wilder fight, when I got to go and spend some time with them in the Los Angeles house in Hollywood. Yes. And they put a fake spider there and scared me, and that was Tim Alcott did that. But it was being allowed on the inside in that comeback, and him taking my interviews very seriously and going deep, and I'm quite happy to say it openly. When he was very ill, mentally ill, I do have a lot of empathy for fighters. I don't care what people think about me in that sense. I have great empathy for so many fighters. I see their vulnerabilities. I treasure our fighters, and probably him appreciating that I sent him messages when he wasn't well, that he could ring me at any time, nothing to do with work, and just chat to me. If he had no one to talk to at 3 a.m. and he was feeling like really down on himself, just give me a ring. Nothing to do with work, and he never did call me, but if he had, I'd have helped him through whatever he was going through. I don't think he's like that, but it was just...
It means more than boxing, that, doesn't it?
Well, it is more than boxing. These are guys
more than just a sport.
That's why I'm talking about empathy, that you must never forget. When you sit in an armchair and you critique these guys, and we all do it, say, that was a poor performance tonight, or I hope we're not doing it on Saturday night. That was a dull 10 rounds, why didn't he get Ngannou out there or whatever? And he'll probably be damned if he does it and knock him out early, or he's damned if he goes 10 rounds, but he might want the rounds, you never know. He won't want to get cut because of this Usyk fight being teased. These guys, these are human beings. They have feelings, they have nerves. He seems nerveless. Oh, there's one other memory, really, and this is probably the biggest privilege, being allowed into his dressing room 3 times before his fights. Yeah, to witness what's going on in the dressing room. That is an extraordinary privilege.
Yeah, I'm going to say, 'cause it's only tight-knit team and people who are allowed...
You say that, but he's taking the mickey out of me.
That's him though, isn't it? He's relaxed and chilled.
It's unbelievable when the whole family are in there, and it's.
Have we seen in boxing a 360 like this? Because you've got to remember, and you'll know better than anyone, when he was coming up, he played a bit of the villain, and really, when you speak to him, he's not really like that. He can play both sides, but since his comeback, he really has flipped it on its head, and the whole sort of people's champion. He always has his critics, and like anyone who's doing anything good always has them. But have you seen such a change in other fighters like we have with Tyson?
No. I think I think I did a show for one of your rival stations the other day with Umar Ahmed.
Oh, for IFL TV?
For IFL TV. Sorry, I'm getting tapped by the flies here. Big drone up there, look at that. I've been through the main 6 fighters going back to the mid-90s I've covered. Yeah. So, I'm talking Naz Hamed, the end of Lennox, Naz Hamed, it's probably 7 actually, Ricky Hatton, Joe Calzaghe, Carl Froch, Amir Khan, Tyson Fury. Who have I missed out there? Amir Khan. No, maybe I haven't missed anyone out. But yeah, I've done all of them. Yeah.
Cheers,
Yeah, it's like the conveyor belt. Yeah, and that's all of them. And everyone goes through a narrative change. Everyone gets either more. Ricky was always very comfortable chatting to a group of media. Always had a story. Tyson's got very, very good at dealing with the media, the change I've seen in him is just more mature with it, knowing how to be a showman. I've just done a big piece for the Telegraph tomorrow on this event reflects that he's at the pinnacle of sport and the pinnacle of not just boxing. Remember, the heavyweight championship of the world was once called the richest prize in sport in 1971 when Ali and Frazier fought for it, and it was the richest prize in sport. I think they fought for $5 million at the time. And he is clearly at the pinnacle of this sport, but commercially of sport, and that's reflected.
Global appeal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's reflected in the enormity of the minister, His Excellency Turki Al Sheikh, in the fact that they want to invest in him, because he's the A side. Yes, Ngannou's playing a big part as well. Invest in him at the opening of their Riyadh season. To draw the attention of the world. You look at the things that have gone right for him this summer as well. He hasn't fought this year, remember?
Yeah, I know.
But look at the Netflix series. Is it 200 million people have watched it?
Yeah,
it was number 1 for weeks. So that's a very important part of the story. Like you said, everyone's got their critics. He's transformed himself. He reached the Everest with Klitschko 8 years ago. Obviously I was there and I saw him afterwards. He was with Paris. When he went to my room, he was going up to his room at Paris, and this was the after party, and they were just quietly going up to their room. Congratulations on their 7th child, by the way, I must say. She's the nails. Paris Fury is the nails. I mean, watch the series.
Kept it all together, hasn't she?
Yeah, she's amazing, and I think he admits it as well. Without her, she's his rock. It's so obvious through the series.
You can see, can't you, with the roles they play in family.
She really loves him, and clearly he loves her, But anyway, I mean, it's an extraordinary story. But Francis Ngannou's got an extraordinary story as well. So, as I say, we've got to wait, watch, listen, and just always expect the unexpected in this dramatic theatrical sport.
Gareth, I think that about covers it in terms
That's
of
all
what his journey.
You've saved my life, but that's all I'm giving you for now.
Perfect. We'll catch up after the fight, Gareth. Appreciate it.
Yeah, pleasure. Cheers.